So, do you remember the first job that helped you get your SAG card? I'm always curious about that. If you don't know, the SAG card is the actor's union card. I think I was tapped heart lead, which is like pretending you're part of the union, and then you have to. It was a pilot called Century City with Hector Elizondo and Yohan Smith. So I got there, and they were like, "Are you union?" And I said, "Yeah, of course I'm union." But I wasn't, and I think those casting directors to this day will never hire me. They never will. You told them you were union? Yeah, I told them I was union, and then they had to tap Hartley. It's just one piece of paperwork that gets sent to the union. But it makes you're the Mike Ross of acting. I was such a fraud. It looks like Meghan Markle and Prince Harry might finally have to answer for all the secret deals and money they've been making since stepping away from royal duties. The fairy tale that started when they left Buckingham Palace is now looking like a business empire that may have been built on shaky ground. And now the federal government wants answers. Multiple U.S. agencies are quietly looking into some of the deals Meghan and Harry have made. This isn't just about money. It's about how that money was made, where it went, and whether U.S. laws were broken. And no, this isn't just a tabloid rumor. This is real. This is the kind of real that makes you sit up and ask, what were they really doing behind the scenes? Let's talk about Archewell, their charity/media brand. They said it would be all about making the world better, but people following the money are saying something's off. Donations come in, sure, but how they're spent. The breakdown of costs and the mix between their nonprofit and for-profit stuff is raising questions. It's one thing to use your fame for good, but it's another to turn charity into a business without anyone knowing. Then there's the Netflix deal. It seemed like a regular content deal at first, but dig deeper, and you see whispers of broken promises, late projects, and stuff that got dropped or delayed. Sources close to the situation say they might have promised more than they could do, using their royal background to get leverage while leaving their partners scrambling. And let's be real, Netflix isn't known for being patient when money's involved. Now add Spotify to the mix. That big podcast deal ended quickly. Meghan and Harry only delivered a few episodes, then the deal ended quietly. At first, people thought it was just creative differences or burnout, but whispers from Spotify say their internal audit raised questions about the deal. Nothing illegal was proven, but it was enough for Spotify to pull the plug fast. Now, here's the real issue. Reports say that tax auditors in the US are looking at Archewell's records. There hasn't been a public statement yet, but the noise is getting louder. When you hear about federal reviews, you know that means someone saw something that didn't sit right. This is serious. Meghan and Harry aren't just regular citizens doing side jobs. They're big public figures, and their deals cross borders. That means foreign income, residency issues, and tax rules. Add the fame of their brand, and suddenly, federal regulators want to know exactly what's going on, especially if business partners or donors feel misled. And let's not forget about the royal side of things. Even though Meghan and Harry aren't working royals anymore, they still market themselves with royal titles. There are talks that using royal titles in U.S. business deals could cause issues. If they used royal symbols or implied royal support in their business deals, that's not just a palace issue. It could be breaking international business rules. Sources close to Meghan and Harry say they're not worried, but are preparing in case things get worse. Their team is trying to stay ahead of the situation, getting legal help, reviewing contracts, and getting ready for any statements. But from the outside, it seems like their fairy tale might be falling apart. Meghan's been quiet lately, and Harry's been traveling back and forth between the US and the UK, adding to the confusion. Fans are starting to ask the tough question, was this all about freedom and purpose? Or was it just about the money? People in the industry are starting to distance themselves. Quiet phone calls are happening, and media partners are rethinking future deals. The sparkle of Hollywood royalty doesn't last forever, especially when real investigators start looking into things. Let's be clear, if any part of these deals involves tax fraud, lying about deals, or misusing charity funds, that's not just a scandal. It could mean jail time. This wouldn't be the first time a celebrity got caught up in the glamour and forgot about the law, but it would be one of the biggest cases if it goes to court. The Sussexes have always operated in a gray area, and now it looks like the consequences of that might be catching up with them. So what's next? Well, that depends on what the investigators find. But one thing's for sure, this is no longer just a story about a prince and his wife starting a new life. It's a federal issue now, and if any laws were broken, it won't just be swept under the rug. If they find evidence of wrongdoing, this could lead to more than just canceled deals. It could lead to jail. Behind all the red carpets, charity speeches, and big documentaries, there's a storm building around Meghan Markle and Prince Harry's money-making empire. And now it's not just rumors anymore. There's real talk happening between US and UK officials about whether their financial dealings need more than just public attention. There are growing worries that an arrest could happen if these investigations find criminal activity. Sources close to both US and UK agencies say they're watching closely and could act if they find anything. Meghan and Harry's millions are now part of a big international investigation. Investigators are focused on where the money came from, where it went, and whether it was all legal. Some people think the two governments are working together on this, which means they're not playing around. Let's break it down. Harry and Meghan built their fortune off being royals turned celebrities. But their royal exit came with strict rules, including limits on using royal connections for private business. The palace may have cut them loose publicly, but legally it's not that simple. If they used royal titles in business deals even subtly, that could be seen as tricking people, especially if it affected investments or donations in the US. And that's where the charity part gets tricky. Archewell is meant to be a charity, but some reports say their nonprofit is mixing with their personal business. Former staffers say that some donations may have been used for projects that benefited their personal brand. If charity money was used for personal gain, that's not just wrong. It could be fraud. US tax authorities are already looking into their financial records, and UK regulators are checking older records from before they moved to California. One investigation alone is bad enough, but when both countries are involved, it shows this is serious. It's not just about tax problems. There are rumors, still unconfirmed, that big streaming companies like Netflix and Spotify might have secretly shared evidence with investigators. What kind of evidence? Things like contracts, production logs, reports, and emails. If Meghan and Harry lied about their abilities or didn't deliver on promises, they could face serious legal trouble. Words like secret arrest talks are being used. And while no charges have been filed, the fact that this phrase is even being discussed means something is happening. Investigators are looking into whether charges like tax fraud or financial misrepresentation could apply. If they find proof, it won't matter that Harry was a prince or Meghan walked red carpets. The law doesn't care about celebrity. Meghan and Harry haven't made any public statements, and Harry is said to be worried but hopeful. Someone close to them says their lawyers are busy, and they're getting ready for what's coming. They're working on a PR plan, not just to control the story, but also to get ready for any legal trouble. It's not hard to see how we got here. When you make money from your image and keep using your royal past while saying you're independent, it creates a mess. And now, investigators want to know if they crossed the line on purpose. If charges do come, it will be huge. A former royal figure facing criminal charges in the US. This could shake Hollywood and the monarchy itself. It could also mess with Harry's immigration status, which has already been questioned based on past visa filings. So what happens now? It all depends on what the investigators find. But for now, Meghan and Harry's million-dollar empire isn't just under review. It's in real danger. The talk about arrest isn't just gossip anymore. It's real, and it's happening in high-level meetings. If this keeps going, we might be seeing one of the biggest downfalls in celebrity royal history. Stay tuned. This storm isn't over yet.